Díomh agus fáilte Rula. So, Artfight ended well over a month ago and I haven't posted anything since it began. I had planned a few things, but I struggled to split my time between life, Artfight and YouTube, so one had to give. But why nothing through August? Well, to tell you the truth, I got a little burnt out from Artfight, and when I had finally recovered from the burnout, I got sick, which I'm still not entirely over. But it's September now, the results for Artfight have been announced, and it's about time I uploaded a new video. Speaking of Artfight results, congratulations Team Crystals, you put up a very good fight. Tragically, us dinosaur kids have lost, but we made a great effort considering we were winning for most of the fight. As for my art, usually I would have had a speed paint in the background already, but I made 31 pieces this year, and to avoid an hour-long video, I cut down every recording to about a minute. With that being said, my first speed paint is of Venus by Sonic Rainbow Mart. Venus is described as a sweet, loving fairy who likes to befriend every creature they find. Not to say she isn't dangerous, she can carry more than her own in a fight. Venus is Crybaby's best friend, and she makes sure to protect Crybaby along with her other friends from any dangers the newly four-armed girl may come across. Not that Umua has any dangers of course, but the spirit is still there. She also has a Spotify playlist and Toy House linked. The Toy House has mostly the same description, but notes their pronouns as she, they, and that she's bisexual. I don't use Spotify, so I can't comment on the playlist unfortunately. Sonic has a lot of OCs I really wanted to draw, but I only got around to 2 of them. His Artfight account should be linked somewhere in this video, but they also have a YouTube channel and are on most social medias. She returned my attack with a beautiful revenge of my OC Fanya. I forgot to ask people if I could use their art for this video though, so you'll have to check out mine or Sonic's account if you want to see it. My next piece was of Francine WV's Nixan. I hope I said that right. I saw her and thought she was just the cutest and knew I had to draw her. Her description is written in both English and Brazilian Portuguese, which I thought was cool. In English, it reads, super sweet and dreamy personality, loves observing the stars with her telescope, firmly believes in mysticism and divine signs. She also loves connecting with nature, especially at night, which makes her very fond of camping far from the city. She always tries to find meaning in her dreams, even though she's not as experienced in this as her mother, who also happens to be a fortune teller. She has a habit of writing her dreams in a notebook when she wakes up, so she doesn't lose any of them. Sometimes she can feel energies that she believes are spirits, which she just tries to bond with and understand what they're trying to say, fearless of what they may cause. Francine WV is on DeviantArt, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram and Blue Sky, and they're all linked from her Artfight account, which, along with everyone else, should be linked somewhere in this video. Next was Alenoshka Sokolov by Ivana Marie 07. I had given myself a small secret challenge this year to draw as many of my followers' OCs as I could manage, and that was how I found Ivana Marie 07 and Alenoshka. She has a pretty detailed description, so I'll only read out parts. Alenoshka is a D&D OC. She's 35, 5'8", built like Vi from Arcane, has a voice came of Svetlana from Shameless US, the personality of Trevor from GTA 5, and has backgrounds as an army veteran, assassin, and mercenary. She grew up extremely poor in a cold, dry village, and her childhood consisted of stealing and blackmailing. To get away, she signed up to fight in the war. While stationed, her and a friend were killed in action, but she was revived by a priestess who claimed it wasn't her time yet. She was 3 years in a coma and has been haunted since the fateful day she died. She likes smokes and alcohol, so I thought this pose was fitting. Ivana Marie 07 is on Instagram. You should go check it out! Up next is Cody by Deadbeat Moth. Deadbeat Moth is yet another victim of my secret challenge, but I had a hard time deciding who to draw. Eventually I landed on Cody, who vaguely reminded me of SCP-049 thanks to the mask. I knew instantly what pose I wanted to do. His description reads, Cody Eldon, a boy with 99 problems and a sister is definitely one. Cody is a very apathetic person. You say you're feeling down, so what? He'll brush you off or more than likely give you the finger if you insist on making conversation. You don't want to get on this guy's bad side. He's easy to anger, and once you've pushed him, there's nothing he won't do to make sure you regret it. He sees no hope in his future due to his cynical nature, and often comes across as uncaring and cold to those who don't know him. However, Cody can actually be extremely emotional, and when he feels down, it's best to keep a close eye on him. Deadbeat Moth Revenge was a really satisfying drawing of Rira. He can be found on DeviantArt, Tumblr, Instagram, Toyhouse, and Kara. Last year I made some art for Nuru, who had left a very kind comment on one of my attacks. It was a sketchy mess, and I thought she deserved far better. This year I drew her OC Kurimu Yakuso, who's a Demon Slayer OC. I could have sworn Kurimu had a description when Artfight was active, but I went and checked and there's no description now, and it looks to be in the process of a revamp, so all I can offer is what's on her character sheet at the moment. She's 200 centimeters tall, 22 years old, and is the Scales Hashira. I don't know a lot about Demon Slayer, but Google tells me they're the top rank of Demon Slayers, which, you know, very cool. Kurimu likes cream vanilla, cold breezes, quiet places, walking, and kimu. She dislikes thunder, crowded places, loud sounds, dancing, and reading. Unfortunately, that's all that's there. Nuru is very sweet and gave me 2 whole attacks. 2! They're lovely drawings of my OC Carmen, one in his regular clothes and the other in his superhero costume. Nuru is on Instagram and I highly recommend checking her out. She's lovely art. The next victim of my secret challenge is Hesitant Harlequin by Whisperwind. They don't have much in ways of a description, but Whisperwind notes that it's an OC based in Sky, Children of the Light. He also talks about a special interest in Commedia dell'arte and love of gestures that inspired the character. I have a very similar interest in both, so with a sense of kinship, I chose to draw Hesitant Harlequin. Whisperwind is on DeviantArt, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Toyhouse, and has a Ko-fi. Solus Galdahiln by Hellish Hotline was next on the challenge's topping block. Solus exists in a shared universe that Hellish Hotline has with a friend of theirs. She is described as a queen who turns to necromancy after her loved ones are killed. Also, she's pansexual. Linked in her profile is a Toyhouse page with a lot more info. Like, I cannot realistically cover even a quarter of it, it's that detailed. Hellish Hotline really has an eye for details. I mean, look at this. That's what I call dedication. She likes power, forbidden artifacts, grapes, dislikes pixies, mead, and sunny days. Her hobbies are monster hunting, learning ancient magic, potion brewing, and knitting. When she's angry, she has a bad habit of pulling on her hair, which is 1, really long, and 2, can be controlled and moved and whatnot. She can be childish and very selfish and has thrown tantrums before. You can find Hellish Hotline on Tumblr, Toyhouse obviously, and Blue Sky. Next is Jeanette by Shai Shio. She describes Jeanette as simply an OC that is unnecessarily powerful with stupidly long hair, which is honestly so real. Her design was really cute and I'm a sucker for OCs that can be put in space. There isn't more to her description, but when I was posing her, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if she was spinning Earth like a basketball? A brilliant demonstration of her power. And it turns out I was right on the money that she was huge. I also noticed that it was Shai Shio's first year, and she got a win as Team Crystal, so congratulations! You can find her on DeviantArt, Twitter, and Instagram. This next one's actually a really fun story. I had randomly come across Star by Starbear Anime Draw TR while looking through Artfight board, and Star caught my eye immediately. I needed a break from my super secret challenge, so I gave her a draw and posted. I come back later to find out that Star watches my videos. How cool of a coincidence is that? As for the character Star, she's used as a Sona, but is a character from Star's Wish Tree world, and was sent there through magical means. Some other OCs called the Bear Siblings are helping her to get back to her world by collecting magical gems to restore the Wishing Tree. Star teases an evil witch with minions possibly preventing Star's return home. Star has such a charming art style that I can't get enough of, and has such detailed references for her characters that I couldn't help but be inspired by. I seriously cannot recommend enough giving her Artfight a look-see. She also revenged with what might be one of my favourite attacks that I've gotten. You can find her on DeviantArt, Instagram, Unveil, and TikTok. This attack is of Astro and Ram by SkyDraws07. I came across them while I was clicking through random accounts and thought the pair was just so cute together. I accidentally forgot to hit record though and only noticed when the sketch was done. Astro is the Prince of the Stars and is dating the assassin Ram. Astro's profile has a link to a Toyhouse page with a little more information. Astro is an alien shapeshifter who came to Earth with the mission to protect it from his two brothers trying to take it over. He has a love for Earth and cares deeply for all the friends and family he's made there. His profile also mentions he eats rolls of tape like donuts, which I just had to include. Ram doesn't have a toy house linked, but has enough info on his profile to get a grasp of his character quite quickly. And what a character he is! He's a half goat, half demon, caught so comfortable that he forgot his mission as an assassin, is very lazy, and was sent to take care of two people threatening peace, who happen to be those brothers of Astro, meaning they have the same mission. They're such a delightful pair. Skydraws07 has both an Instagram and a toy house to check out. I mentioned earlier that Sonic Rainbow Mart had a lot of OCs I liked, but I only got to draw 2, and this is June, the second one. Sonic describes her as a cutesy Twitter girly who just likes to make her online presence super aesthetic. She has a separate private account too, but that's probably just for regular life stuff, right? Not much is known about June, to be honest. She's very reachable online, but nobody's ever seen her in real life, not even a singular picture, so people just have to go off what she says she looks like. She can be a bit of a bitch and gets in Twitter drama way too often. Not gonna lie, based on her background in the character reference being the trans flag, I think my girl has a bit more going on that she doesn't want the internet to pick up on, but that's just a bit of speculation. Sonic Rainbow Mart is a VTuber with a Twitch account where you can catch their streams. It's also on Tumblr, Instagram, Toy House, Blue Sky, and have a card. Unfortunately, this next character's profile is hidden, so my bare bones recap of their backstory may not be 100% accurate. This character is Prince by Zisto? Don't know how to pronounce that. From what I remember, Prince owned and ran a theatre where he was very fond of performing. They did some experiments on themselves which resulted in patches of differently coloured skin, I believe the tail and facial scarring he elected to cover with a fancy mask. Prince has a flair for the dramatics, is a bit egotistical, and if I recall correctly, hates sharing the spotlight. I'm very fond of characters like him and figured he would be fun to draw, and I was absolutely right. I have so many dramatic pose references saved, but never any dramatic OCs to suit, and I finally got to use one for them. Zisto can also be found on Tumblr, Toy House, and Blue Sky. This is Cosmos by B-Day. I initially struggled a bit to get it the way I liked, which eventually culminated in me trying out a whole different art style. I think it turned out really well, actually. Cosmos is the god of time and space. He believes in total anarchy and has formed a group of people to help him enforce this across different worlds and dimensions. He can do anything with time. Stop it, go back, forward, all that stuff. Not only that, but he can shapeshift into someone and copy exactly how they look and sound. Making deals is his specialty. He prefers not to use violence, and he only does use violence when absolutely necessary. B-Day also compares him to Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, which is an interesting comparison for reasons I don't think were intended. I usually view Bill as, well, a little pathetic. But anyway, B-Day has a YouTube channel you can go check out. Next up is a bit of a long one, so bear with me. Last year I made a My Little Pony mass attack with 9 OCs. I decided I'd like to make a tradition out of it, so I picked 9 new ponies. The attack was sent to the owner of Mischief, the pony down in the centre. Mischief was created by Discord and was once the jester of the princesses. When things went sour between the sisters, Mischief spiraled in his attempts to keep them laughing and was eventually thrown out of the castle. He now runs a cult of chaos, dedicated to freeing Discord, though not even he takes them seriously. Mischief has a little hairless cat called PJ, which I love. Mischief's creator, Unabai, can be found on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. On the far left is Dorian, who unfortunately lacks a description. Frongs is new to Artfight and hasn't linked any other social medias. Daydream is next. Wezen describes her as a pony Sona, but doesn't give much more. Wezen also doesn't have any other social medias listed. Next is Sugar Snow by Spasms. Unfortunately, this one also lacks a description, but Spasms does have a toy house that you can look at. Then there's Lilac Lullaby by Treshvo. She makes potions to give you sweet dreams. Lilac also has 2 hair colours, the dawn one and the midnight one, though I use the dawn one here. You can also find Cheshvo on DeviantArt. Cacti or Ivy is another ponyzona, this one by Sweet Cacti, who mentions that they really like green. That's all that's available on them, no links to any other socials. This is Judo Cake's Creme. Creme is such a cute design, but unfortunately no description. Luckily, you can find them elsewhere on DeviantArt, Furaffinity, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, Toyhouse and Blue Sky. Plus, they have a card with info about commissions. Next is Tearlight by Dish's Diner. Tearlight was Luna's most loyal follower and was furious after Nightmare Moon's defeat. She vowed to avenge her princess and studied under Celestia to become a princess of weather. She attempted to fight to the death with Celestia, but she got jailed and petrified instead. Dish's Diner also has a toy house and a TikTok to check out. This is Banana Milk by Creative Artly01, and banana milk is used for shipping, which is so real. She is a baby and I also love her. Creative Artly actually has a YouTube channel that they asked me to link. You can also find them on DeviantArt, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky and Unveil. And this is everyone from my 2025 MLP Mass Attack. Brad McLovin attacked me first, so of course I had to revenge. I love me a computery guy, so I chose Screenster to draw. Screenster was very cute, but this was about halfway through Artfight and I was starting to get a little burnt out, so I decided to keep it simple. I really like how the lighting came out in this one, even if, looking back, I wish I'd done a bit more. Brad McLovin describes Screenster as a little computer guy. He's knowledgeable on all things related to a computer and the internet. He can have a variety of expressions, but he sure is a smiley guy. It also mentions he's a pal named Clicker, who's a mouse. That's so cute! You can also find Brad McLovin on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. This one is another cool story. I was going through YouTube videos on Artfight, and one by Canu Ghost was recommended to me. I thought his art was cool, so I followed him on Artfight and planned an attack, but before I could get one in, he'd followed me back and attacked first. So of course I made this piece of Unak. His profile talks about how Unak is some kind of ghost or spirit with a love-hate relationship with Morgan Freeman. He likes spiders, overcast days and black coffee, and dislikes dogs, hot sunny days, and strawberry lemonade. Can't relate. You can find Canu Ghost on YouTube and his channel's the same name. This is Hyera by Typhus. Typhus is another person who followed me and thus was a victim of my super secret challenge. It was a tough choice to figure out who to draw. Typhus has so many really cool OCs, but I knew I wouldn't have time for more than one. So eventually I landed on Hyera. What I can gather from her profile tells me that she would be a love interest of one of those yandere visual novel romances, and that she's one of 4. She's very flirtatious, affectionate and touchy, but tends to love bomb and play the victim. She acts like an airhead, but she's incredibly smart and knows exactly what she's doing. Typhus describes her as probably the most toxic of the 4, which makes the fact that she cracks dad jokes a hilarious contrast to me. This might be one of my favourite drawings I've made this year, even if I struggled really hard with the pose. The way I did the lighting just scratches an itch. You can also find Typhus on Toyhouse and DeviantArt. And here is Calliope Turan by Mini Onion. She's a tiefling bard and an acrobat specialising in aerial arts. Some of the references have her on the trapeze, silks, and also doing floor gymnastics. It wasn't listed as a specialty per se, but the aerial hoop is a kind of aerial gymnastics and I thought it would make for a fun pose. I don't know what I was on for this drawing in the last to make the lighting so good, but I would love to be able to replicate it. Minion has a Tumblr and Instagram, but they also have a YouTube channel where she does stop motion animation with dolls and it's so cool. I highly recommend checking it out. I Am Ninetales left a very nice comment about my lore on my profile, so I returned it by drawing their OC Fyra. Fyra is a state-designed futuristic OC, which I thought was a very funny description. They live on the moon and have a series of bubble weapons and tools, like a bubble gun, a bubble sword, and they have a matching bubble helmet. I had an idea already, but upon reading I Am Ninetales' global permissions, I noticed they wanted either a phone or desktop wallpaper, so I kept that in mind as I made the piece. I've never made a wallpaper before though, and I have no idea what a phone screen size is, so I may have failed a little on that front, but I still think it turned out looking well. You can find I Am Ninetales on Twitter and Instagram. This is Magenta by Le Cheeseman. Magenta has such a cool design and Le Cheeseman's art style really helps to make it shine. I sincerely wish I'd found her sooner into the fight because then I might have had the time to do something a little special instead of a regular digital attack. Magenta is a 16-year-old witch that is quite intense but fun. She will certainly be getting those around her into some trouble. Her pronouns are she, her, and she's pan and will date anyone, even if they aren't human, which Le Cheeseman adds is pretty normal in her world. She also has magic matching the blue-teal colour of her eyes. Le Cheeseman's profile is unfortunately pretty blank, and there's no other socials listed, tragically. You'll just have to go to their art fight and see how cool their art is yourself. Next up is Atura by Winxie. His profile notes several things about his appearance, like curly fluffy hair, copper dangly triangle earrings, a mole on the left side of his chin, and most importantly, he has skin. Atura is a purple emperor fairy, but his wings are facing the wrong way. It is apparently still up for debate as to whether he can fly or not. He is an older, fancy butterfly prince of the Nephiliverse Nea or Winxie Fairytopia. I have no idea how to say the first one, and I don't know which one's the accurate one. Both are listed. Atura is also brothers with Atmanta by Ivory Soda. I sincerely wanted to draw the two together, but again it was a case of just not having the time. Also, apparently the brothers have two mams, which is cool. They're linked on both profiles. Winxie doesn't have anything but a card linked on their profile, but if you follow that, it has links to other social medias they're on, like Tumblr and Twitter. Two years in a row, I have somehow managed to find myself in the position of drawing a mermaid character within the last few hours of Artfight, and I wonder if I should make this a tradition too. This year was Siren by Sunset9064. Her profile reads, "The shyest and loneliest siren in the deep Pacific. Sirens are abandoned as eggs, left to mature and survive alone. Because of this, Siren has no name, going by the name of her species. She wishes deeply for a friend, but wouldn't dare to try interacting with any foreign species. Siren enjoys decorating herself with all manners of shells, pearls, and trinkets. As a hobby, she loves to sing or create accessories for herself. She is capable of traversing land in human form, but she doesn't know that yet. Maybe someday she'll travel to the surface and find out." Sunset also notes a few things about her appearance, that she looks to be in her early to mid-20s, but she's actually between 60 and 70 years old, she just stopped keeping track after a while, that Siren has blue blood and thus blushes blue, and that her hair gets wavy at the ends when it dries. With her permissions, it was encouraged to experiment with clothes and hairstyle, so I decided to go a bit out of my comfort zone and think up something a little new for her. I wouldn't consider myself great in fashion, but I think I did a good job. If you want to find Sunset9064 elsewhere, they have their Instagram linked on their profile. On to the final speed paint and the last attack I submitted. This is Nevin by Pish Posh Bagot, which is a phenomenal name. Nevin is a barbarian jester who ticks nearly every box for characters that I like, so even though there was only about an hour left before Artfight officially ended, I still made an effort to squeeze them in. Nevin is Steen Tiosi. They're a wild magic barbarian with bardic abilities. They have some mysterious reason for wearing mask, and while they're already unsettling, the mask only adds to it. Their weapon is a slapstick club, and they play the hurdy-gurdy to cast spells. They used to be bodyguard and an entertainer for an evil king, but was cast aside when he got bored. Nevin survived and is now out for the king's blood. If you want to find Pish Posh Bagosh anywhere else, they have a Tumblr, Twitter, and Blue Sky. Now, I said that was the final speed paint, but I also said I made 31 pieces, and that was only 22 drawings. Well, there were 3 I forgot to record. The first is a revenge against Olive of Vanders, who had the absolute gall to attack me first thing before I even had the chance to attack him. I've known him for quite a while, and I've always found his OCs and lore really interesting, so it was a little overwhelming when deciding who to pick. I had made a couple of sketches of his OCs until I finally landed on Rayleigh, who runs a diner with her sister Dusty. Olive has a Tumblr you can check out. The next was a drawing of Goopy Goop's 2 OCs, Spoon and Fork. They're adorable and I love them. Their ship name is Spork and they're the perfect complements of each other. Goopy Goop has a Twitter you can find them on. Finally, there's the group picture I did of 1 pencil sharpeners Alexandra, Gabriella, Michael and Zane. These characters all have a really fun dynamic with each other, so I wanted to include them all together, and what a better way to do that than through a meme format. If you want to find Pencil Sharpener elsewhere, they have an Instagram. But Rula Bula, you might be saying, that's still only 25. What about the other 6? And to that I say, my super secret challenge this year was to attack my followers, but my not so secret challenge was to try and make more physical media. This first one is a traditional piece with pen and marker of Ash and Dusty by Akira Dusty. I don't draw furry characters much, especially on paper, so this was a fun challenge. They don't have any other socials linked, unfortunately. Next up are the 4 clay pieces I got around to making this year. The first was Bon Bon by Moonlichid. He's from her fic, There Are Many Benefits to Rethinking This Career Path. The fic is currently on hiatus, but she still occasionally makes art for her socials. It's a great read if you are interested in the daycare tenants from FNAF. If you don't like them, you might not like the fic, but I still recommend giving it a shot because it is a very good read. She is on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. The second is Ender, a cute little wolf dog belonging to JoJJ the Wolf. The profile is archived, so I can't really offer much info on the OC, but JoJJ was very cool the few times we talked. If you want to find them elsewhere, they're on DeviantArt, Fur Affinity, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Unveil. The third is Nup by Musty Curry Beans. We had talked briefly the year prior, so this year I decided to surprise him with the clay figure of Nup. It was strangely the hardest one I've had to make because he needed to be perfectly bean shapes, no lumps or bumps, but also needed to be able to stand on his own, plus the hat constantly threw off the balance. I am very happy with it though. You can find Musty Curry Beans on Toy House, and they also have a very cool straw page linked. And last, but most certainly not least, is Catowitch by S. Sava Art. If you don't know who he is, he's a pretty popular artist on places like YouTube and TikTok. I like his stuff, and when I found out he had an Artfight account, I gave it a look-see and saw Catowitch. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to make such a cute guy, plus I got to use some of my lesser used art supplies. Sava Art has his Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Kara, and YouTube linked on his profile, but he pretty much has every social media and it's all linked on his YouTube channel. And that is every single attack I've made this year. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm so sorry for how long it took to make. The next video shouldn't be too long in the future. I had hoped that I would get this out before the Undertale anniversary so I could make a video about that, but tragically things got in the way. And with all that said, gur maith agat as brechnú ar mar fhíseán agus slán go fóil.